right, we are back for another episode on Torque Test Tuesday. This is going to be episode 3, testing the my Milwaukee M12 impact driver. This is the brushed impact driver. I don't have a brushless Milwaukee impact driver. I don't really plan on buying one because I have my skill stuff now, so I don't really want to waste the money on another 12 volts. So this impact driver is rated for 1,000 inch-pounds of torque, which puts it, like I said in the previous videos, right in between my Skill right angle impact driver and the regular Skill impact driver. This right angle impact is 900 inch-pounds. The traditional pistol style impact driver from Skill is rated at 1,100 inch-pounds. As you can see, I've updated my rig here. When I was doing the regular Skill impact, I actually was stripping the screws out. So I actually have the screw right here. The threads, you might be able to see it, but they were starting to strip out because of the torque I was getting to. So for these smaller bolts, we're only going to go up to 100 foot-pounds of torque. And then anything past that, we will transition to the big bolts here. These are, I do believe, 3/4 inch by 2 inch long bolts, and then the sockets are 1 1/8 inch. So that's this big bad boy right here. So like I said, we'll do up to 100 foot-pounds on these guys for when we're doing the breakaway torque. And then anything past that, we'll transition to the big bolts if it gets up to that point for the breakaway. And then for fastening, what I've done is I've retested all those other two drill drivers, and I wrote them down in my little notebook there. So what I'm going to do is I'll still do 5 runs, but it'll be these 3. And then I'll switch the socket out into these 2, and then I'm just recording that down. And it'll give us a good enough baseline for everything. What else? Oh, I've also tested the different size batteries I have. So for the Skill, I have a 2 amp hour and 4 amp hour batteries for them. So I went through and I tested the other 2 amp hour and 4 amp hour, all the tests. So fastening and loosening with both different size batteries. For my Milwaukee stuff, all I have are 2 amp hour and 3 amp hour XC batteries. So that's just going to be what it is. For this, I don't want to go buy a 4 amp hour battery because they're like $80. So we're just going to be stuck with what I have for now. If you guys really, really want me to do a full-on comparison of 4 amp hour versus 4 amp hour in the Milwaukee and the Skill, I can go get one. But like I said, I really don't want to do that right now. What else? I just want to make sure I cover everything that I've done in between. Yeah, so I'll start off. We'll do this one for fastening. Give all the readings out for that, and then we'll see how far we can go. I'm probably going to start at about 80 foot-pounds of torque on these guys, just because if it's in between the right angle impact and the regular impact, it should be falling in right at about 80 foot-pounds of breakaway torque. So I'll probably start there, or maybe even 70, 75, something like that on these smaller bolts. And if we can get past that, then we'll step it up like we did with the last one. But I'm gonna get you guys set up, and then we'll get started. All right, so we got full charge on the 2 amp hour battery for Milwaukee. And like I said, we'll do the first 3 of the 3/4 inch drive bolts, and then we'll switch over to the 1 1/8 inch for these last 2, and 5 seconds of impacts, and then we'll move on to the next bolt. Okay, so that's done. We'll put our socket on our torque bar here, and we'll go to read peak torque. All right, 426. 386. and 447. So I'm gonna write these down quick. And now with these bigger bolts, they tend to have take more force to break these free. So, for example, this first one was 524. All right, so now we got the 3 amp hour battery on, and we'll do the fastening test. And same as the last time, 5 seconds each one, and then I'll record the torque as they come out. All right, 660 or 66. $54.8. $52.7. $85. And that last one was 70.9. Okay, so we're going to start off at 75 foot-pounds. And then we'll go up by 5. I don't think this is going to get past that too far. All right. Once again, for doing the breakaway test, if it doesn't start spinning after 5 seconds, we're just calling it done. So we'll see how far we can go on this. So 75. That's 80. That was 85, so we'll jump up to 90 on this first bolt. All right, 95. All right, that's a no-go. So that means 85 foot-pounds was the peak for the 2 amp hour battery. So while we're here, I don't know why I did that. Let's see what we can do with that. Let's see what we can do. So we got 105 and then 110 on these two bolts. We'll see if we can do it. No. So 100 foot-pounds is peak for the 3 amp, and I think it was what, 90 or 85 for the 2 amp hour battery. So we'll write those down before I forget them. Well, just doing this off the top of my head or in my little book here, this looks like it lands right about in between, or right about the same as the Skill right angle impact, which is kind of to be expected, being that it's a brush tool. It's 3 or 4 years old compared to my Skill stuff, which is brand new. And on the battery side, this only having a 3 amp hour battery. I'm probably losing a little bit of juice. Might gain another few foot-pounds of torque if I add a 4 amp hour on there. But other than that, it's a solid tool. I'm kind of surprised that it was able to break away 100 foot-pounds of torque. For comparison, I think most vehicle tires are torqued down to like 90 foot-pounds. So in theory, so with a 3/4 inch socket, you could break away 100 foot-pounds torque in theory. So you should be able to, no problem, use this tool to break the lug nuts off on my truck, which is pretty nice, especially being a compact tool like this. And the same goes for my two Skills, the right angle impact and the regular impact. They're in the same boat where they have enough foot-pounds of torque to break away most of your lug nuts, because they're both being able to do at least 100 foot-pounds, either with a 2 amp hour battery or a 4 amp hour battery. In the case of the Skill versus the Milwaukee 2 amp hour battery, I was only able to get 85 foot-pounds of torque on the breakaway, versus a 3 amp I was able to get 100. So in theory, if I had a 4 amp hour battery, I could probably get pretty close to what the Skills were putting out, which was like 110, 115, somewhere in there. But that is going to be it for this Torque Test Tuesday. Next week, we will have the Master Force 20 volt. And that one I do have 2 batteries for. I have a 2 amp and a 4 amp. So that'll be a little bit more easy comparison with the Skill stuff. And then after that, we move on to the Milwaukee M18. And I've got a 5 amp hour battery. And then I got a big old 12 amp hour battery in there. And we'll test that out and see how much power, if any, we can get extra out of the impact driver. But that is all I got for you guys. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.